Hi folks, welcome back to another episode of Washing Dishes. Today we're going to make one of my absolute favorite party dishes, something that I've made dozens of times to feed lots of hungry people. I'm going to make some really amazing, from scratch, bacon mac and cheese.
We're going to start by breaking down our cheese. I've got 4 sticks of string cheese, which is about 4 ounces of low-moisture mozzarella. And then I've also got 6 ounces of Gruyere and about 4 ounces of Romano. You could use Pecorino or Parmesan or whatever. That's just what I grabbed. You can use kind of any cheeses you like. I'm going to chop up the mozzarella, grate the other 2, and then just mix it all together. So once we've got that done, we'll move on to starting our roux. And my favorite kind of roux starts with bacon, of course. We've got about a pound of bacon that we're going to cut into small lardons, and we're going to render the fat out of that. And we're going to use that as the fat in our roux instead of something like butter or oil, because we're going to put bacon into this mac and cheese. Alrighty, and now we've reached one of my favorite parts of the recipe, and that is the sit around and let it cook while we stir it every once in a while section of the recipe, of course. We're starting our bacon in a cold pan and bringing it up to medium-high with just a little splash of water. That's going to kind of help the heat get into all of the bacon and kind of prevent it from sticking as it starts to render out the fat.
Now we wait.
Rendering out the fat here is going to be probably a 15 to 25 minute process, just depending on how hot your pan is and how wide it is and how much space the bacon takes up and that sort of stuff. Pretty much you just want to let it go, stir it every once in a while, and you're not trying to get a crisp on the bacon at first. You want to let it go at low heat and come up to temperature so that all of the fat can render out into the pan, because we do want nice crispy bacon, but first we want the bacon fat so that we can use it to make the roux that's going to thicken our cheese sauce later. And now that we've rendered pretty much all of the fat out and we've gotten the bacon pretty much crispy, it's time to get it out of the pan. So we're going to strain off as much of the fat as we can reasonably strain off, and then we'll get the bacon out onto several layers of paper towel just so that we can drain off the remainder so that it doesn't get greasy. Bacon's fatty, you don't want it to be greasy. And then we'll set that aside and get started on actually making our roux. Now we're adding 1.5 ounces of bacon fat back into the pan, which is going to combine with 1.5 ounces of flour to give us 3 ounces of roux to thicken 24 ounces of cream to make our base bechamel sauce that we're going to convert into our Mornay. Now, of course, our roux is going to end up a little bit darker than a normal blonde or light roux, and that's just because of the brown bits in the bottom of the pan. So we're going to whisk as we add in our cream and get that going and start it reducing and heating up to a simmer until it's got a nice, not quite thick enough consistency. And then once it's there, we're going to add our cheese to thicken it up the rest of the way. And that cheese is going to go in a few batches. Basically, you want to do like a quarter of it, whisk it around. Once it's all melted in, do another quarter, whisk it, melted, another quarter, whisk it, melted, last little bit, good to go. Also, you probably want to save just a little bit of your cheese to use as topping at the end with some of the bacon and some herbs that I'm going to chop up later. And then once it's got a really nice kind of like ooey, gooey, stringy, cheesy consistency, we're going to go ahead and toss most of our bacon back in, stir it around, and then get it off the stove and onto our board so that we can build the whole sauce and get everything into the pan. And to build this, I've got my sauce, I've got a pound of grocery store pasta, and the reserved cheese and bacon. And it's a fairly easy process of just mixing the cheese sauce with the pasta. I usually do it in a few doses, kind of put it just like adding the cheese. Add some, stir it around, add some, stir it around. If you add it all at once, there's a bigger tendency for it to kind of slop over the sides. But if you add it a little bit at a time, it's not as likely. Everything kind of sticks together better. And we're just going to get it all mixed up, get the cheese on top, get the bacon on top, and then pop that in the oven, really just until the top is crispy and everything's all bubbly and delicious. And then we'll be good to go.
There we go. Wow, that's gorgeous. It's also outrageously hot, so don't touch for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and garnish. I've got some thyme, some parsley, and some green onion that I just chopped up, so I'm going to sprinkle that over the top for a little color. But this is going to have to sit for a good 20 to 30 minutes. Don't be a hipster and burn the roof of your mouth by eating your mac and cheese before it was cool. Let it chill out for a minute. But this heat is going to give us some nice fragrance, and it'll wilt the herbs a little bit without making them turn kind of grody and brown and nasty. So that'll be nice. Everyone in the pool. There we go. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this little tour through my personal favorite daughter sauce of bechamel. I'm going to let this cool off, and then it's going to be dinner. So, thanks very much. Hey, thanks for staying till the end. I really appreciate it. If you like that, check out a couple of these other videos. They're probably up your alley too. I have a Twitch channel at twitch.tv/washinthewind. I'm on Twitter at washinthewind, and I'm on Instagram at washinthewind, but without the E, mostly because of the character limit. If you'd like to show some support, a Twitch sub or a Patreon subscription would be wonderful, but what helps the most is a like, a subscribe here, and sharing the video with your friends. I hope you've had a wonderful time enjoying the video. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your time zone. Thanks very much for watching.